Do I have something on my lip? Ew. It might be some chicken. My bad. I did just eat dinner. My dogs, they doing what they normally do. Say hello. Bruno. Legend. Stop licking my feet. Bruno. Legend. Say hi. We feed them every day, but this is just how they act. Bruno. Hey, Kwana. How are you? It's so good to see you. My last live stream was a while ago, and I didn't schedule any streams for this month because I was going through a lot personally, and I didn't even do like the goals video for August. So I was just like, the monthly check-ins I plan to do, but I didn't plan to do it like on a schedule. Hold on. Stop. Get away from that and sit down. Sit down. Sit. Sorry. So the last one I did, I scheduled it, but a lot of people didn't show up. So that's the other reason. I was like, maybe I need to just do lives randomly instead of scheduling. I'm fine. I'm excited and doing things for my business. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear that. I know you have been trying to kind of like get started and continue rather. Hold on, I'm about to separate the dogs. Let's do this. Come on. Let's go in our little separation area. Let's do that. Come on. Stop trying to bite him. Go, so he don't do it again. You finna go too. Y'all both in trouble. One band, one sound. I know it wasn't anybody. It was both of y'all. It's like kids. Hey, LaChantrell, how you doing? Bruno, what is that? Drop that. Thank you. Leave it. Leave it. Sit. Sit, Bruno. Sit. Good boy. He actually listened to me when I said it. When the other one eating. So, I'll show you, but I have to keep it. Okay, I will be on the hush. Trying to see, like, how do I say hi back? It won't let me say hi back, but I'm saying hi. I see your message that says hi. So anyway, I didn't schedule any lives, but I was saying I'm going to go live and just see who joins, and that's what this is. I didn't, like, put it in advance or anything, and someone was telling me that when you're scheduling vertical streams, they don't get pushed for some reason, so just go live randomly, which kind of sounds silly because it's like if you want to plan and tell people when they expect you. But I guess you could just say it and then do it without it being scheduled. You'd think that they would push out something that you plan and commit to versus something random, but I don't know. I'm trying to think. I do have some new videos coming soon. I got so behind with filming, or not even filming, editing videos that I had already filmed. So I'm back on track with getting all that stuff out, and I plan on posting some new videos soon and just sharing like some new updates and things like that. As far as the live stream, I thought it might be cool to talk about like parenting and just like the tough parts of motherhood together tonight. Just because I feel like the last couple months has been a big test for me as a parent, and maybe like as we talk about that, other moms can chime in and they can share their experiences, their advice. I will say that I've been going to church. I've been praying more. I even read my Bible this week outside of the day that I went to church. And when I was reading my Bible, the things that I read in were in Proverbs and Psalms. And the Proverbs verse talked about rearing children. And it's something that like I really been reflecting on. I also looked over Proverbs 31, which talks about womanhood and like what defines a virtuous woman. And when reading that scripture, it made me kind of look at the things that I feel like I exemplify already. But then it made me kind of think about some of the traits that I need to work on doing more of to be more of a virtuous woman, to be more like that Proverbs 31 woman. But the child rearing scripture, I don't remember exactly which one, but it basically kind of went over, you know, the principle of making sure that you teach your kids the right way to go, because that's our duty as their parent, like to tell them when they're wrong so that they don't go astray in life. And like, even if you have to discipline your kids, it's better that you discipline them than they not live to tell the story or to learn another day because they go out in the world and they don't have a good experience. And I just find it really important because, like, having scripture to back you up sometimes when you're going through a rough patch with your family, with your kids, you know, it can help you to remember that God is still in control, and it can help you to remember that you don't have to deal with everything by yourself. And just this series that I've been tuning into the last couple of weeks at church has been talking about like Christianity in the early days and practices of the early church. And so the first week's message, I'll be honest, the preaching style wasn't the best. So I can't even tell you what the takeaways were for that particular sermon. But the second and third sermon in the series were very relevant to me, and they were very easy to understand, and they were preached by the lead pastor of the church, and they were just easier for me to grasp and understand. So one of them talked about devotion to prayer, and one of them talked about devotion to reading the Bible. And the one about devotion to reading the Bible kind of just talked about how, like, the early church, they relied on the stories of the apostles telling about Christ, and that's how they learned. And so for us in this day and age, like, we have a Bible, and there's many versions of it that we can use to equip us and help us understand how to be more like Jesus. And the thing is, if you're not reading your Bible and you don't know the Bible and you don't know scripture, it's hard to walk that walk fully because you don't know everything that's in it so that you can interpret it for yourself. Like me and like most Christians that don't read their Bibles regularly, you end up just knowing some of the more popular stories, and you know the scriptures that you may have been taught as a child, like the Lord's Prayer, Psalms 23, Corinthians 4:13. Like, there's some that you're gonna know, but you don't know the full Bible, so you're not able to interpret it and make, you know, findings for yourself based on what you've read and understood. And so you are trusting some other preacher or leader to equip you with an understanding, and that's all you have. But there's something about being able to read the word yourself and use it as a tool for yourself and for your life and for what your purpose is that makes it a very different experience as a Christian. And then the devotion of prayer, it just was a reminder that was backed up by scriptures, of course, that we should be praying about everything and never ceasing. You know, we should be praying and giving thanks for everything we have when times are good, when times are bad, you know, understanding who God is and that him alone to make us be able to get through any obstacle. But like bringing God in before we make big decisions, bringing him in as we're going through things in the morning, before we do different things, like making him part of our day and our routine, and not just something that we do at church or something that we do when we feel like there's nothing else to do. And so, like I told y'all, I felt like this series has been really, really helpful to me. As I've just been navigating some crazy, crazy stuff. That's what I was about to say. These past few weeks. But, yeah. And then as far as parenting, I have a 10-year-old now. So it's just very different. The stage we're in right now, I feel, is like really crucial. Because it's like you're young enough to still turn it around, and we can make an impact, and we can really hone in on the right from wrong and get you where you need to be. But it's also like you're a preteen. So it's also, for me, understanding that we're Black, and as a Black young man, you are going to have assumptions made about you just based on how you look. You are going to have less grace just because of your gender. And when you have made mistakes in your past, unfortunately, they come with you. Now, the mistakes you've made in your past right now are very little, but if we don't unlearn some of those negative habits, it can affect the way that your middle school years go, your high school years go, your life beyond school goes. And y'all know, or maybe y'all don't know if it's your first time talking with me live. Ooh, excuse me. I'm sleepy, though. I'm also really sleepy. I've been getting up at 6 every day, 6:30, and y'all know I used to get up later than that. Back to school schedule is in full effect, and I feel it every day. But I was basically just saying that, like, y'all know that I want more than ever for him to not have to experience things the hard way, learn the hard way, learn the hard lessons. But I also understand that some people have to learn that way. And that's the scary part. Like, I can tell you every story that I've been through, that people I love have been through. And I can hope that, you'll listen to that as your mom, coming from a place of wisdom and love. But at the end of the day, even as I had to learn some mistakes by experience and by having my heart broken, by having, to experience going without because of my choices, sometimes kids, whether boy or girl, they just have to learn for themselves. It don't matter how much we try to steer them a certain way. They decide they wanted to go the opposite way, then that's how it happens. I put them away because they were in here trying to bite each other's ear off.
Yeah, that's a normal thing.
And like,
I get it.
I can't do that and do this at the same time.
I understand.
So, yeah. Sorry, boys. He has a mentor, but he could use more for sure. I feel like I need a community mentor. His mentor works at the school that he goes to, and he's great, but I feel like he needs a community mentor too. And like the last couple of years, some people were saying, oh, do sports, it'll help. I'll be honest, I don't see where sports helped at all. He still had the same kind of problems that we saw in school or like camp or anywhere else, with kind of like dealing with defiance and not listening, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, it was cool for him to make new friends. It was cool to see how athletically gifted he is. But at the same time, it did not help with the behavior stuff. Like, a lot of people kept saying, yeah, just put him in sports. Like, no, like that didn't just magically solve those problems. So now this fall, we're actually not doing sports. Dez is actually coaching though, but he's not doing the sports with. And don't laugh at my little beer blanket. I got this at Bell's when they went out of business. Haul coming soon. The blanket was like $6 and it's cozy. I don't care about beer and football. I actually got it for Des to use, but I feel like I'll be using it more than he do. So it was just like a nice soft plush blanket. But yeah, just, I don't feel like sports solve the issue. I do want to enroll him in winter basketball because I think it'd be good for him to play basketball and have a different coach and his stepdad not be involved in coaching him this time, just so that he could see, like, it is not something that his parents are doing or his uncles are doing. So he could see, like, if you are on a team where, I'm sorry, I was just trying to twist my wedding ring around. It was like backwards. But like if you're on a team and you have someone who knows the game and they're really serious about developing the kids, that if you're not listening or if you, make mistakes or whatever, they make them run and they make them do exercises and things like, it's not about him always being in trouble, but it is to say, like, I want him to see that no one was just being hard on you. This is how it is. And like playing sports when you get to middle school, high school, coaches are tough on their players. They're not going to baby you. They're not going to give you the position just because you want it. Everything is earned, not given. And I need him to understand that because he's been an only child for so long, 10 years. So he's just used to things kind of happening for him. Even when I was struggling, I made it look easy. And he didn't have to grow up the way that either of us did, going without and things like that. And now you ask him, he probably say, well, I do go without certain things. I don't get everything I want. But from a context of like me being a, woman in my early 20s, now in my early 30s, having a baby and being able to go from where I was to where I am now with him, it's like night and day. Why are you up here with them things on your fingers?
They're paper.
Yeah, why are you up here with those on your fingers? Just say, go back to your room. What's this on your shorts? That's not gonna come out.
I know. It been on there.
No, it wasn't.
Like last time
Why you be messing up everything you get?
I'm saying last time I won.
What, you supposed to be Dracula? I am your father. Bye, Saya. This is an adult conversation that don't have nothing to do with Josiah trying to show off the paper today.
Gonna show him?
No.
Bye.
Bye.
These are my paper claws.
Goodbye. Beat it, bucko.
Beat it, bucko.
Good night. It's 9:08. You're supposed to be in the bed.
Okay.
Yeah, good night. I hope the alarm didn't pause my live stream. I don't know how to turn it off. So every like 8 to 9 minutes while I'm talking to you, it's going to keep going. So hopefully y'all don't hear it. But I want him to experience that and see what it really would be like to play sports and understand that it's not like just the way that his stepdad coaches. Because when he played basketball the first time, he did have a coach who was the head coach, but he didn't really have a lot of experience with basketball and he wasn't organized. And he asked my husband to help him be an assistant coach to kind of help with not necessarily discipline, but just like having someone who knew the game and knew how to like structure practices and guide and develop the kids. So all of Josiah's sport experiences have had an association with his stepdad. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it can be, because it's like there's no separation mentally for him as a kid from, 8 to 10, or maybe it was 7, 8, 8 to 9, 7 to 9, of like your activities with your friends, with a team, versus your life at home. It began to blur together, and it began to cause issues for them both. And so I would like him to be able to experience for the first time a team that has a coach that knows what they're doing, that can push him and give him that experience, but also so that he understands that you're not just going to be given everything you ask for. Like, just because you are a good shooter, or you run really fast, it does not mean they're going to put you in the starting five every time. And when it comes to baseball, like, just because you've been a catcher and you've done really well there, and you also can pitch pretty well also, it does not mean that you will pitch or catch with whatever team you play on. It's like an understanding that as you grow and as you play for these middle school teams and these high school teams, you have to go through a tryout, and you have to be selected based on your standing in school and your grades. And if your grades are not good, you won't get picked. If your behavior is not good, you won't get picked. And if your talent is not there, you may get picked and never play. And so you have to work at it. You can't just think you know everything, don't want to listen to people who know what they're talking about, and think that you're going to be able to get through anything like that. And I just feel like he needs some separate experiences that don't involve a family member for him to get those, that clarity. And I think I've been saying it a lot, but I feel like 10 for him is going to be the year of growth. Not only because he's literally growing, he's in his last year of elementary school, he's going to middle school next year, but it's just a year of, you're in the transition. As a tween, we've got 2 years to get this right before you're a 13-year-old and you look tall, and you're not going to be treated like a kid, because it's just what society does to Black young men. And so, consequences for your actions, not as much grace being given for some of the same things being said over and over and over and over and over again. It's just a tough place to be, because this is not where we were 5 years ago. But I also feel like maybe if I would have understood what I understand now, I would have did things a little differently with him back then. And someone told me, and it wasn't even about Saya, but it was just in general, like, when you go down the whole woulda, shoulda, coulda, look, you did the best you could with what you knew and the resources you had. But, like, sometimes it is hard to, like, sit back, reflect, and feel like you didn't do something right, and you wish you could have did things differently. Like, there is no handbook for parenting. You can listen to people online. You can read books, but like, the situations that you might be dealt with in your life are very different than the situations that other people share. And I think that's part of why I like sharing my life, because I know that there's people out there who have a non-traditional situation. And that's the other dynamic that makes my situation very different. Like, Josiah's got a stepdad and we have a blended family, but we also have a blended family in a unique circumstance with his bio people. And so it's like, that's a factor in itself, like handling the emotions and the frustrations and the sadness, or the, questions that I can't answer that are attached to a person that I can't get in touch with regularly or whenever. It's quite different than dealing with a deceased parent, which I've dealt with. It's very different than dealing with a divorced parent, which my husband and I have both dealt with. It's very different than dealing with a parent that is active and present, but just not with me. That's very, very different. And so it also creates another layer of challenge a lot of the time. So I just ask y'all for y'all prayers. And if you're in a similar situation in any way, whether it's a blended family, whether you're a single mom, whether you're a married mom, but you're just trying to navigate being a good parent to your kids and they're really showing you tests and trials and stuff. Like, I encourage y'all to, like, lean on your village if you have one. Lean on prayer, because prayer gets us through everything. And just, like, try your best to ensure your kids know that you love them. Sometimes that's the hard part. When you have to give the tough news, when you have to give the tough love, when you have to take things away, when you have to be strict and not give in because you want to be, graceful. You got to kind of know when to be graceful and when to be like, all right, enough is enough. And I would say, like, it feels like I'm in a enough is enough season.
Oh.
What is it? Oh. Well, how did he get over there? He was over there in Legend. I wonder, did Bruno see him or did Legend? Aw, he gone now, Bruni. You have to give yourself grace, because as a parent, you wish you could do everything right, but you aren't trying. You are trying rather than giving up. You're a great parent, and if you don't know, think you're doing a great job, then you aren't a great parent. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah. I don't know. That's just like what's on my heart tonight. So I just want to come on and share that. I feel really proud of where I've grown, like, as far as, like, trying to pray more and, go to church. Like, the fact that me and my husband, we found and agreed on a church, like, that's exciting, because it's been a long time coming. It's been really hard to, like, find one that we liked enough to keep going. And I won't say the church is perfect. I don't think I found a perfect church ever, and I don't think it exists. But this one seems to check a lot of the boxes that we were looking for. From the youth ministry to the way the services are laid out, from the convenience and location to just the vibe that you get while there. It just seems to be a good fit. And I also enjoy still, like, streaming my services online from different churches that I've been introduced to over the years. Like, my therapist introduced me to a church, and one of the sermons she wanted me to look at was one that her pastor did about marriage. And it was a really good sermon that went over, like, the male perspective and the woman perspective, and, like, what the biggest challenges in marriage can be. And I still, but I never went around to visit in the church in person, mainly because the location wasn't close to where I live. And I found that pretty nice. And, like, Word of Faith has been another one that I enjoy. I haven't actually streamed them in a while because we've been attending this new church, but just having 2 to 4 churches you can, like, hear different things from, I think is really good, because sometimes it's nice to hear a different perspective. And that's another thing that I like about the church I go to now. It's called Chapel Hill Church. They have 4 locations in the metro Atlanta area. They have guest pastors, like, every month. And I feel like it really speaks volumes that you're comfortable to have different people come and preach and speak to your congregation. And most of the time, they do a good job. There was one guest pastor that I told y'all about a few months ago, I think, where they were trying to basically get people to donate money for this mission cause. And it was a part of their Kingdom Builders initiative, which Kingdom Builders is essentially what they call everything that is related to their additional partnerships, community partnerships. So they have one for people who deal with addiction. They have one for people overseas, like feeding the hungry. They have all these different, like, little groups that they support around the world that do different things to support communities. And so they had a pastor come who was also, like, one of the founders, senior leadership members of one of the missions that they do Kingdom Builders for. And the preaching was all about giving and basically trying to encourage us to give one day of resources to this organization that they supported. And that was really off-putting for me and my husband. We didn't like the sermon. It felt very tacky. It felt very forced. It felt very inauthentic. But other than that, every other time that they've had a guest preacher, they've been pretty great. And I feel like the lead pastor does a good job as well. There is an older pastor there. His preaching style is not my favorite. You have to kind of pray before he starts and just ask God to, like, you know, give you one thing. It's something that I heard earlier this week at work in a development session. And I think this can apply to your spiritual journey as well. But it was basically saying that when you're doing something for your development, if you go to a workshop, if you go to a seminar and you're supposed to be learning something, have the goal of taking away one thing from the development workshop. And when I think of going to church, I think of that as weekly spiritual development for you to take with you into the following week, right? So, like, everybody who preaches at a church, they may not mesh with you and your learning style. Just like in school, we had teachers that we loved. We loved the way they taught. Some teachers, it was so hard to understand what they was talking about because their teaching style didn't mesh. And I think going to church or visiting different churches is the same way. Sometimes you can go to a church and you just feel like it's the perfect fit. And other times you go and you feel like something's off. Other times you may attend and you like the people, you like the praise and worship, but the preacher is not sticking for you. So, like, that advice, that had nothing to do with church, but I internalized it and thought of it like, going forward, when I go to an event, try to learn one thing. And so with the pastor that I don't like his preaching style as much, my new goal with him is, like, try to find at least one thing out of what he said to take away and take back with me. And then I can do the work of looking the scriptures up that he quotes, finding applicability. Is that a word? Applicability? Make it applicable for my life. And then the work can go beyond what I did at church. And I think if more of us take that mindset into our journeys, it will prevent us from, like, getting stagnant. Because another thing that has come up a few times that was recommended as far as devotion to, like, your journey and your walk with Christ is, like, trying to find more opportunities to connect with other Christians. They have this thing called small groups where they've been encouraging us to join a small group at the church, and then you do, like, Bible study together and you get a fellowship. But I think, like, I don't know if I want to do my small group with their church. Maybe I want to do a Bible study at another church and just tune in every week. Maybe I want to find something on YouTube or create something on YouTube. I remember many months ago, I think Quana suggested that I host my own Bible study on here. Like, anything you can do where you can fellowship with other believers and talk about Christ and y'all can read together, pray together. Like, that's the same thing as a small group that you would be getting from a church. You don't have to always tie everything with your development spiritually to a church. I do think it is good to come together at a church or, like, as a church family and pray together. And, you know, that is good. But I think we should be praying with people, for people, and alone, because that's how routine it should be. And it feels good when you come together and you receive prayer from somebody else. And sometimes a pastor might pray broadly, and whatever they're saying is relevant for you, and you can receive that. You know, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. When three or more gather together and agree, there's strength in that. But sometimes you just need to pray by yourself. Like when you're going through a season of isolation or just doing a new phase in your life, you can't bring everybody with you. You can't share everything with everybody. So it's like having that prayer life with God by yourself is also important. And like in your friendships, in your relationships, when you break bread with people and you pray and bless the food before you get started, like all of that. So, and like with Josiah, I need to do better with this, but like I need to go back to like praying with him in the morning before school every day. I do it some days, usually Mondays, but not every day. So maybe just like praying over him, praying that to help him make the right decisions. I pray a lot, especially after those school incidents from last year. And I think like 2 years before that, praying over the safety of the school, the teachers, the staff, and all the kids inside of the school. Like, that's a prayer I say very regularly because it's not something I take for granted. Like, I would rather deal with the issues that I've had so far than ever get that call of something like that happening. So, like, that is definitely something I'm grateful for and that I pray about regularly. I pray for protection over where me and my husband go every day to work to provide for our family, too, because sometimes people are mentally ill and they bring it with them to work and they want to just, you know, release whatever they're going through personally, selfishly, because they don't care in that moment. So, like, safety and just God watching over me, even when I make mistakes behind the wheel. Like, thank you for me not getting in an accident. Thank you for you not allowing this car to hit me when they weren't paying attention. Thank you for allowing my car to get me from point A to point Z when I'd had a part that was faulty. And it took me a while to get it fixed. I did get that catalytic converter fixed, y'all. I don't know if I told y'all. I was able to get it fixed. And my dad actually helped me order the part. And then he helped me do research. And we found a local shop. And they were able to do labor only. And it was significantly cheaper than what that first guy was trying to charge. I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was a blessing. It took a while to figure that out, but I'm so glad I was able to be patient, and it kind of gave me inkling of what to do the next time something in my car goes wrong. Yes, I would like that, and not just the Bible study, but one day each week to come on and come to lay your week out with people and not. Exactly. I think that's what we need. We need more community. That's kind of what a village is. And I think everybody deserves a village. Like, a village is not just for people who are, like, for kids. I think us as adults, we need village too. Iron sharpens iron. And I think sometimes it's good to, like, fellowship with like-minded people to get yourself on track. Like, or just be reminded, like, sometimes when you're having a bad day and being able to talk with people who can understand what you're going through, who might have been where you've been, excuse me, or maybe they're going through the same thing, and just having that reminder that you're not alone. That's always, like, I think there's something beautiful in that. I think that's why we connect with people on social media, honestly, because when you find a family that you like, or a woman that you like, guy that you like, there's something that they're doing that inspires you usually. And if it doesn't inspire you, it may entertain you, and that's cool too. But, like, the people we consume our time with is usually inspiration or entertainment. And so when it comes to the inspiring folks, I love to watch people who inspire me. Families that look like mine. Content creators who are authentic, whatever authentic looks like for them. Those are my favorite kind of people. Because it feels like community. But, yep. Say you've been going to bed by 10 o'clock without saying you've been going to bed by 10 o'clock. I made my bedtime an hour earlier this school year because I was really struggling the last couple of years with helping with school and, like, getting up in the morning, being able to, like, have time to make breakfast if I need to, pack lunch if I need to. Like, all of that was extremely difficult, getting up late every day, going to sleep late, because I used to go to bed close to midnight. Like, y'all see, I went live before 9 Did I go live before 9? Yeah, because I've been on for about 40 minutes and it's 9:30. So, I went live kind of early compared to like me going live at 10. Like, I don't know. Spoiler alert, I'm going to continue going live with y'all, but it probably ain't going to be no late night lives because I don't be going to bed late no more. Probably not in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe 4 weeks because school started July 31st for us. And I was just like, there's no way I'm finna go into this school year tired every day trying to juggle work and helping with homework and going to the workout. I can't juggle all that. Tired. And then going to work out got put on the back burner because I was trying to figure out the whole schedule thing plus dealing with like the injury in my leg. So like when I initially made the plan, it was based on the fact that I was going to, get things back to a normal with school starting. But I will say I've been pretty proud of myself. Excuse me, not with my fitness journey as far as like weight loss and stuff, but just with like my food choices lately. I've been trying to eat cleaner. More fruits, more green leafy vegetables, more home cooked meals whenever I could. I've been trying to drink a lot of water. My water intake is definitely up this month, so I'm super proud about that because I struggled with that for months, as y'all know. But also just trying to make sure that I am like eating more protein, So like I got these lentil chips that I've been really enjoying. They're made out of like red lentils and they have 5 grams of protein per serving out of Publix. And I've been eating Greek yogurt, the flavored kind though, because I don't like the plain one. It's nasty. I watch you because you're like the friend who you FaceTime once in a while and catch up without being judged or talked about. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Kwana. Always. I'm here to be there for y'all whenever y'all need me. I need to be more consistent with FaceTiming y'all. I do. You see me trying to get my little water intake in before I go to sleep. Yep, I've been trying to get this water intake in because drinking water can help with inflammation. And sometimes my leg, it swells up and stuff. So I have to like diet is such a big thing. Like I started taking sea moss, and I gotta get some more. But I started taking some sea moss because this lady at the gym told me it was a natural remedy for inflammation, and it would give me energy in the morning. So I took some sea moss gel. It was like pineapple mango flavor, and it was pretty good. It kind of tastes like applesauce. I felt like it helped me regulate a little bit. But I also started mentally trying to, like, okay, you're going to start going to bed a little bit earlier. And you're going to start waking up a little bit earlier. And I will say, going to bed around 10:30, and then getting up around 6 is not so terrible. When I was going to bed at, like, midnight, 1 a.m., trying to get up at 6:30 was a struggle. And I always felt like I was behind because really my time at night, it wasn't like I was doing productive stuff every day. I'll be honest. It wasn't like I was like setting out my outfit and packing lunches and making sure everything was set up. Like, yeah, sometimes I would prep my food that I would bring to work the next day, the night before. But like this year, we have Josiah bringing his lunch to school more than he's eating in the cafeteria. It's not to say he can't never, ever eat in the cafeteria, but it is to say like I'm working on different ways to save money. And there was far too many times in 4th grade that he came home telling me he didn't eat because he didn't like what they had. And so I was like, well, I've been offering to send you with your lunch, and you can always tell me, like, when I do my grocery shopping bi-weekly, what are the snacks you want in your lunchbox? What kind of things do you want to have for after school? What kind of things do you want to eat? And I'll make sure to have it here in the house so you can bring it with you. But, like, he didn't take it seriously, so we just kept paying for lunch. And so, like, it would be times where he would say he barely ate, but because he didn't like what they were serving. And I was just like, well, baby, you don't get free lunch. Like, I grew up on free lunch because my mom didn't have a lot of money. We not in that category. I have to pay for this. So if I'm going to give that school $3 a day or $4 a day because you going in there for breakfast and lunch, which we nipped that in the bud too. You can eat breakfast at home for the free. Okay, thank you, Quana. I'll look at the DM that you sent me. It's on Instagram, right? We gonna find that was the stuff you like and send you with it. So I like so far, and we just about 4 weeks into the school year. So I'm not trying to say we perfect or nothing, but like we try to do an after school program snack, a bottle of water, and then a lunchbox with something in it that he can eat. Sometimes we do Lunchables. Sometimes if we have some chicken wings or something that he can bring, or some sort of, like we did a BLT wrap one day last week that he liked. Legend, sit down. Yes, you. Sit down. We can bring that, and then like switch it up with different kinds of snack. Granola bar, fruit roll up, Welch's fruit snacks, Rice Krispie treat. He likes the veggie snacks I was just telling y'all about with the lentils. So we just switch it up a little bit. Okay, thank you. Thank you I'll check it out when I get off of here. So yeah, like it's been going pretty good. I'm just trying to figure out ways to save money. And my next project, personally, is going to be a declutter project. I'm going to get a big trash bag, and I'm going to go through my stuff one more time. I put on a pair of pants earlier this week. The pants did not fit. I think I bought them pants at the thrift store late last year or early this year. But I could fit the pants earlier this year. They were a little bit on the tight side, but now they don't fit at all. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to just make room for whatever's next, because ain't no use in saving these pants and they don't fit. I have enough clothes that I don't need to be keeping nothing that was too tight and uncomfortable. So, yeah, I'm going to be going through my room. I really need to declutter it. Every time I go in there, I feel overwhelmed because it's just stuff everywhere. So, that's my goal. I don't know. I'm going to give myself a couple weeks to start making some progress on that, because I just feel like stuff is a mess. And my dogs are not hyperallergenic. They shed. And I feel overwhelmed with cleaning after them because it's constant sweeping, constant Swiffer jet mop, constant, pet hair collecting. I didn't realize that I had dogs that were going to shed. I honestly think Bruno sheds more than Legend does. I feel like when Legend was smaller, Legend was shedding a lot, and now he doesn't seem to shed as much. They both shed, though, because I think they're both shepherd mixes. We don't know what Legend is because we rescued him from underneath a porch that some people left him and his sisters out of a house, like under a porch of a house, and he was essentially left for dead under the porch when we got him. And like this realtor who was selling that house told us the dogs was there when she was doing a showing, and told us and whoever was interested on Facebook to come and get the puppies if they wanted it for free. So that's how we got Legend. I told this story in a video about him. But like, we don't know nothing about him, but he looks like a shepherd mix of some sort. He has a fluffy tail, kind of like a husky, but he don't look like a husky. He don't howl like a husky. He don't have husky mannerisms. I think he's like a border collie shepherd because he has the traits of a border collie as well. And he's brown and black and white. And then Bruno, we were told that he's a German shepherd husky mix. A shepherd husky mix. I don't know if it was German shepherd, but a shepherd husky mix. So he's black. He's all black. He got a couple of white speckles of fur on his feet. and maybe like a little small pouch on his chest, but I think it's mostly on his little paws. You see a little white, but he's mostly an all black German Shepherd dog. That's what he looks like. But he howls when he talks. He sounds like a Siberian Huskies, like how they be howling and stuff. Like Bruno does that. But as far as what he looked like, he just looked like a black German Shepherd. And so like having them and having the hair on top of having to clean up the other stuff, like I just feel like lately I've been kind of slacking in that area. And it's honestly been harder for me to keep up with that stuff since we got the dogs. Like, it is a lot. And I see why people hire cleaning services. Like, I don't see nothing wrong with it if you can squeeze that into your budget. I've considered it a few times because you get tired of being the main one cleaning up all this stuff all the time. And I have to shout out my husband because my husband does a lot for the dogs, like most of the stuff for the dogs. He's often the one cleaning up after them when they go out to use the bathroom or have accidents in here. And it's not always pee and poop. Sometimes it's them throwing up. Sometimes it's them knocking over the food. Sometimes it's them eating random stuff and having to spit it up. Like, they're like little babies. Having puppies. And then my bold behind went and got 2 puppies under one at the same time, 3 months apart. Like, what was I thinking? It's my heart, y'all. I just felt so bad when I saw that picture on Facebook. And I was like, oh my gosh, someone left the puppies. We should go be heroes and get one of them. And then now I'm just like, wow, I could have had it easy with my one well-behaved dog, and I went and got a second one. Sometimes I joke about, wanting to rehome the second one because he be not listening. It's like when you have one child and the first child is so well-behaved and it's so, smooth, and maybe even your pregnancy experience is amazing with that one child. It convinced you enough to do it again, and then you get that second child, and that second child is completely different than the first. That is how Bruno and Legend is. Like, Bruno and Legend are 2 different personalities, 2 different types of dogs for sure, but they just act completely different. Like, certain things that Bruno caught on to, by the time he's the age that Legend is right now, Legend still has not figured it out. Like, I would say that the accidents have slowed down quite a bit, and I'm grateful for that. But Legend's one of them type of dogs that he wants it his way and immediately. Like, he will use the restroom in here to spite us, even though he knows he's supposed to do it outside. Bruno's at an age where he don't do that no more. Like, he genuinely do not be having accidents in here. The only thing that happens with Bruno sometimes is he'll drink his water too fast, or he'll eat his kibble too fast, and he'll end up throwing up a little bit. And it's like a spit up. Sometimes it just looks like water, and sometimes it might have little pieces of kibble in it. But like, as far as him like spraying in here and pooping on stuff, like, that's like, I would say 1 out of 10 times. Whereas Legend, he's currently sitting around a 4 out of 10 times. He decent, like, that's still an F because he can do better. I feel like, you have to be on a consistent routine with him. Like, Legend is the reason why we have to get up at 6 or 6:30 every day to take him out to use the bathroom, because he will not try to hold it. He will definitely pee in the crate, and lift his leg up and spray stuff. And he's younger than Bruno, and Bruno doesn't do that. So it's just kind of like very different. And then just like, sometimes Bruno, he just wants to relax. Like, he just wants to come sit next to you and snuggle. And Legend don't know how to just relax and snuggle sometimes. He always got to disrupt the peace. He wants to fight, and he wants to start stuff. And he likes to come and pounce on Bruno or get the zoomies and come run on the couch. And you just be looking at him like, go sit down. Stop. So, yeah, like, the problem children are also in the puppies right now. Zaya got his own little things going on, and then the puppies got their own little things going on. Then you have to throw in cleaning, and it's like, it's a lot. I want to add a cleaning service to my village eventually to help me. Help us. But yeah, one of my goals is to declutter. So I maybe like declutter by the end of September. And just continue to keep the water intake high and, keep on eating the high protein meals. I think I had a hiccups, y'all. I ate some Jamaican food for dinner, and I don't know, something in what I ate. I'm so starting to feel really sleepy, so I want to lay down while I have that sweet spot so I don't lose it. But it was so nice to talk with all of y'all and catch up. No, I didn't forget about my live streams. But as I mentioned before, I think that I'm going to take a break from scheduling for a little while and just see how the pop-ups go. And if the pop-ups do just as good or bad as the scheduled ones, then I will go back to scheduling maybe in October or so. But I just feel like, you know, honestly, this got more reach and more consistent attendance than the last two I did in August. Like, I was so shocked. Even with me, like, scheduling them, even with me doing reminders in the morning, like, hey, I'll see you guys later. It was just like people didn't get alerted. I feel like YouTube be playing with me sometimes, too, and it makes it very, discouraging when you want to keep being consistent and whatnot. But nonetheless, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great, safe weekend. And I will talk to y'all again soon. Good night, y'all. Bye.